Hello again, welcome back to beautiful Bridlington. So the interesting thing about Bridlington is that the temperature only goes above 15°C when you're not here. Been the same as long as I can remember, right back into my childhood in the 1950s. If you decide to stay at home in West Yorkshire, just south of Leeds, Bridlington then raises to be above 15°C and you can have a beautiful 23 centigrade in Bridlington when you're not here. We've got the usual wind blowing, the cold wind, we've got the brooding sky. See here, you can see there the wisdom of that gentleman who is actually wearing gloves in midsummer. Who can blame him? I've got my own gloves here in my pocket, ready to put on after a few minutes filming, because this is, after all, summer in the UK and we're subject, of course, to climate change and global warming. Carries on like this, there might be polar bears swimming into the harbour and climbing aboard the Yorkshire Belle. And I was thinking just then, what was going through my mind was Rupert Sheldrake's hypothesis of formative causation, if I'm remembering it correctly. Well, seemingly that was about morphogenetic link through time and space, whereby, if I got it correctly, information was passed in a species, the experience of an organism being then passed on, sort of morphogenetic link through time and space. It's the first time I'm thinking about this since the early 1980s when I was at university, and that was seemingly a fringe theory at the time. However, just imagine, there are no people here again, hardly any, not much wildlife either. Put a good argument up then that people have, through the experiences of people being at Bridlington, for example, in previous generations, there's been an aversion to it passed on genetically, so that automatically people now go on holiday to Spain, or probably not Spain at the moment actually, given that there are problems with Brits seemingly in Spain behaving in a way that the Spanish don't like. Of course they like the money but not the tourists, seemingly. Isn't that just great? Anyway, you can come to Bridlington, it's beautiful, look, and the sun is now coming out. It is a beautiful summer's morning, you're not going to get too hot here. Anyone with an aversion to heat, any sort of heat, Bridlington is the perfect holiday destination. It's the 4J's lobster fishing boat departing the harbour. The beautiful but deserted North Beach, Bridlington. This is early in the day, it's only 9:50 AM. We set off from just south of Leeds about 6:30 AM this morning. Went across the M62 and then took the Driffield route. Driffield now having a bypass. I can remember it back in the 1950s when Driffield, all the traffic on the east coast from Scarborough, Bridlington, Filey, went down through Driffield, or the Beverley route, went through Driffield, through the actual town centre. There was actually more traffic then than now. joking apart, I still believe that Bridlington is one of the best day trip and British holiday destinations in the UK, not just in Yorkshire. Here we have the Yorkshire Bell getting ready for sailings later in the day. To me, it's absolutely iconic, is Bridlington, with the white chalk cliffs over there, which look much better when the sun's actually shining on them. And you've got the beautiful beaches, the safe beaches at Bridlington, North Beach. You've got that beautifully picturesque town where there's been the wisdom of maintaining light coloured houses of different colours there. It is absolutely beautiful, isn't it? And that extends all the way along this part of the coast there, the colouring of the houses. Many of us have memories of Bridlington as a holiday resort as children. That area where the three white houses are on the beach there, I camped on there on that beach as a 10-year-old with a friend of mine, and we put the that's right, 10 years old, just the two of us. We put the tent up on the beach just above the high tide mark, and throughout the night we couldn't sleep because of the sound of the waves. Kept looking out of the tent to see whether the sea was actually going to come into the tent, even though it was well above the high water mark. And then in the morning we lit a fire on the beach and cooked some breakfast, and a police officer turned up. And we're talking now about how the police service, actually the police force at the time, you know, sort of very much, this is the 1950s, probably 1958, very much like Dixon of Dock Green you might have seen on British television. Very nice Bobby, as we used to call them, turned up. He told us he'd actually seen us from a telescope here and decided to walk up there to have a look and see what was happening, whether we were okay. We didn't even have to dye the fire out, he was absolutely fine with it. We thought that he might have just walked up there, you know, nice easy shift, walk along the beach, walk back. Predominantly I was here as a child in the 1950s, and perhaps as a 2 or 3 year old I can remember staying at South Shore Holiday Village. I'm not sure what it was called in those days. It was sort of in the distance there where those white houses were, and there was like a chalet type bungalow called Summersville, if I remember correctly, and there was a collection of seashells and things on the veranda there. Very much a surprising thing for me at that age, because living in West Yorkshire, of course, you never saw anything like that. It was almost magical to come here as a child, and I suspect it's pretty much the same now, actually. This structure was there at the time, but there were lots of fishing cobbles, probably about 10, 20 or more here, and they would go out into the bay on excursions for 2 hours up to 6 hours. You'd be fishing there trying to catch something. With that, I'll end this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Just be sure to bring your overcoat to Bridlington if it's midsummer. Joking apart, it's a beautiful place. Well worth a day trip at least. Hope to see you in the next video. Take care now.